Hello, everybody. Glad to see you guys on this wonderful Taco Tuesday. If that's what it is, right? Taco Tuesday. Yes, it is. May 7th. Got a lot of info I want to get into tonight, but without further ado, I will not bid you adieu and get into the comments. Smash a like, share the program on both X and also YouTube. Let's start off with the first comment of the day, and let's see who it's from. It is from the one and only Boomer Sooner. Earlier with some of my sales, I was at the 30-yard line, the 20, the 10, and I did a touchdown. I was like, Boomer Sooner. Good to see you, man. Boomer. All right, Brittany's in the house. Happy Tuesday. You got your new avatar still. Cool, cool. Thanks for being here, Ms. Brittany. Yeah, the one and only Tim Shea, who sprays from far away. Tim can never come in here fourth or fifth listed, right? It's always going to be top three, usually first comment. So good to see Mr. Mayor of Crypto, the Crypto Commissioner, representing the 589th District of the XRP Army, and his fellow constituents, Mr. Tim Shea. Good to see you, man. All right. We also got Richie Rich in the house. It's always a good time, a party time with Mr. Richie Rich. Thank you for being here. And we also got Patrick Collier. Hopefully you tuned into yesterday's show. It's a good show. I got a lot of good, great feedback on yesterday's show. Back-to-back days covering Stellar. Like, that's not every day, right? How cool is that? Yes, the 589th. Thank you for that, Mr. Patrick Collier. We got Crypto Coin Guy representing the Elmo token. He says, good evening, everyone. Max for President 2024. Man, I wouldn't want that job. That's a tough job, right? Not to say that we don't have tough jobs, but that's got to be the toughest, especially in this day and age. But thank you anyway. If you're voting for me, well, no one's gonna vote for me. But anyway, Boomer F Sooner says touchdown, and he says hello to the Crypto Coin Guy. All right, we're gonna just advise you guys to do while more people filter on in is to please smash that like. Currently speaking, we have 7 likes, 14 people watching. I know, I got the program out a little late, had some work calls and so on, but it's okay, had to work around it and was trying to, do research while I was multitasking, what I mean? I'm sure you guys can relate. So we're going to read a couple more comments. Brittany, Max for President. Thank you, though. Anyway, Cool Cat is in the house. Hey, Cool Cat. Good to see you, man. 2 days in a row. That's awesome. And what else we got? Triple C, market caps, Pui Scam. Right, yeah. You're going to see some crazy stuff tonight. So, yes. All right. Let me just take a look at the scores real quick because I'm interested, obviously, in that. All right. So, Q4, Boston's kicking the crap out of Cleveland. Sorry, Selmo. You're not going to want to hear that. 105 to 85. Fourth quarter, 7 minutes left, roughly. And, of course, at 6:30 my time, it's OKC versus Dallas. Shout out to Boomer. Good luck to your Thunder, right? Absolutely. All right. What we're going to do now is just get into it. Maybe it's because I put Clearpool on. Maybe not a lot of people want to watch. I don't know. But we do have some Stellar. So whatever the case be, it's going to be a good show. And you know what? This is the first cryptocurrency I ever covered. I'm not paid by them to obviously share this and so on. But you want to know something? A lot of you guys want to pay attention to some of the things that, seem like they're going to do well, especially at the height of the bull market. Now, I have some research, big research in my eyes, in regards to Clearpool. So when it comes to Clearpool in the future, I know it sounds like it's the furthest thing away from us, but we are going to get to the point in which we need to have an exit plan. But what about real world assets? And most importantly, what about, the tokenization of like DeFi, credit lending, and all sorts of things in regards to capital market ecosystems? So I want to share quite a bit in regards to Clearpool. It won't be like the 2-hour deep dive on Clearpool or anything like that. I'll try to get to the point. But what I mainly share with you is why this project was so interesting to me back in, for example, late 2021, and still to this day, very, very interesting, and why it's always been on my radar. And I want to reintroduce it to you guys tonight. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on that branding for a second. I actually have one made for this. I did it a while back, which is kind of cool. As you guys know, I have a bunch of different coins that I put up here. So here's the one for Clearpool. And basically, we're going to share this straight from Clearpool first. So starting off with this, as you can see, when you go to their X, it mentions as, a platform that pioneers the future of DeFi, credit, and RWA lending powered by Cpool. Now, I want to state this. I will get back to covering, for example, Bank Social, BSL, and so on. But this is another one that you should definitely consider in regards to your portfolio. Not financial advice, but if this is the type of things that you're going after because you realize, low market cap gems with huge potential, you might want to consider this. You guys have heard me talk about this numerous times. I've done over 40, maybe 50 videos on Clearpool in my lifetime, and I haven't done any lately, but man, they've been killing it when it comes to the coverage lately. So for one, check this out for yourself. I think it's definitely worth pointing out. And it is basically some of the things that are shared here. So they have a lot of recent updates, okay? And most importantly is when you see this top part where it talks about pioneering real world assets, lending, and DeFi credit. So, let's face it, Bank Social has a very similar model, and a lot of us are investing in that. I am as well. But as I got more into some of the recent developments in regards to Clearpool lately, I stumbled upon some of these things. So let's reintroduce Clearpool to you and why I feel as though it takes the cake, at least tonight. So number one, you're going to see here an interesting post by this guy. I'm going to go ahead and give him a follow because I thought he did a really good job. And that is MOIC Digital Research. Shout out to him. He states, credit market involves high risk, but also high rewards. What can you easily borrow in regards to your crypto to, trusted institutions, permissionless, on-chain? Well, easy APR, a thread on Clearpool. Clearpool, the future of DeFi credit. As I got into this, I thought this was really well written. So number one, here's an introduction to some of this stuff. And what really took the cake for me was, understanding that Clearpool has expanded out their network. They're not just on Ethereum anymore, right? Been there, done that. Polygon, Mantle, Optimism, so on and so forth, right? So this introduction, just in case you weren't aware of what it's about, let's get into this. You will see here what Clearpool is all about. So, I would bookmark this thread because, if you use X, you might want to do that. So number one, in regards to part two of this thread, crypto institutions face limitations in accessing credit and loans. We know about this. Clearpool tackles these issues. No more over-collateralized loans and high liquidation risks. Earn interest by lending to trusted institutions. And this part is really going to catch your eye for, as I would call, the grand finale of a video sequence that you want to stick around with later tonight. I'll give you one hint. BlackRock. Yeah. So revenue used by buyback, Cpool. You also see here with this introduction, they have this whole thing of digital asset institutions, especially those in the crypto space, basically lack what? Well, they lack the same access to capital as their traditional counterparts. They face significant limitations in accessing credit facilities and even those particular loans. This is a very well written thread, in my opinion. He posted this on May 2nd. He goes on to also mention, as a result, these institutions often have to seek alternative methods, funding, DeFi, and also the CeFi markets, right? Centralized finance. However, alternative methods usually give birth to new problems, and in the case of DeFi lending, over-collateralization and the risk of liquidation emerge. Let's take a pause to reflect on that for a moment, okay? So Even I myself, years ago, back in 2015, was like, hey, I would really love to be able to create a game and so on. Well, there's all sorts of different methods to raising capital. You could do it, for example, with crowdsourcing. We know about the ones, for example, Kickstarter. There's other ones, right? But when it comes to, some of these VCs, this is a problem that exists in the traditional finance world. Enter into Clearpool, a solution for VCs to quickly raise capital. But what about us in regards to retail? Can we earn, for example, yields on our stable coins and stuff like that? Yeah. It doesn't get mentioned enough, but it needs to be mentioned. In the future, we will all reach that pinnacle of wanting to basically earn yields on these amazing gains that we've invested into for multiple years at this point. And some people, they want to see it in the form of staking. Some people want to see that in the form of other things, right? But you want something that is going to be sound, or as Gilbert Verdian would mention, future proof. Let's point this out here. You see that Clearpool is a decentralized capital markets ecosystem. That part I don't want you to forget ever on this outline, because it's going to make sense, especially when it comes to some of these interviews you're going to see. Clearpool is merging the sophistication of traditional capital markets with the benefits of blockchain and, just that, guys, decentralization. When you get more into this, you'll find out that Clearpool significantly improves the landscape for both borrowers, lenders, and DeFi by addressing previous risks. Everything has a risk, right? But how do you go about it? And especially, how do you go about when it comes to offering utility? Some people who haven't even heard of Clearpool don't understand the bigger picture. And if anything, I want to pound that home for you guys. So users have access to permissionless platform for single borrowing, fully permissioned institutional grade platform for wholesale borrowing. We talked about the platform. What would it look like? Can we give you an idea? Yes. So Prime, for example, non-custodial, institutional grade marketplace, where you can access the largest global KYC and AML compliant network for wholesale borrowing and lending of digital assets. When we research things about, like wholesale CBDCs, we think of quant. What about wholesale borrowing, guys, and lending of assets, and especially the ones tied into RWA? Again, enter into Clearpool, but this specifically, which is, referred to as Prime. A little bit more about this. I'm not going to make it 2 hours, but borrowing with Prime doesn't require the provision of collateral. Again, this really makes Clearpool stand out. So here's how it works. Borrower creates pool with specific terms with a smart contract. Invite a whitelisted institution to fund the pool. Again, as I get further into the outline tonight, you're going to find out why that is such a big deal. You're going to hear from people from Bloomberg on a clip that I fast forward to. I'm telling you flat out, you want to pay attention to some of this stuff. You'd be glad that you did, especially long term. Loan assets are automatically transferred, and most importantly, this part. The option is only available when whitelisted institutions, guys, have undergone prior KYC and AML verification due to its high risk nature. It's a permissionless platform in regards to Clearpool, but being able to lend to institutional borrowers and receive risk adjusted returns. What kind of returns? That's what I'd be asking, right? So as we zoom in more on this, you see that they have these options for single borrower liquidity pools. You can lend digital assets, receive risk-adjusted returns. There's no lockup period. You can withdraw anytime. And look how many different chains they're on, guys. It's not just Ethereum, Optimism, Polygon, even Polygon's ZK EVM, right? Mantle, right? Very underrated project is Mantle. And even Avalanche. All right, this part. Look at the list on this. Numerous institutions already make use of Clearpool assets borrowing pools, each offering various interest rates. And this part I will zoom in a little bit more on the other page, just to kind of give you guys a heads up on how this works. So check this out. I know it's full screen, but it's good stuff. You see, for example, some of these different assets, the borrowers. That's one thing I love about Clearpool, is the transparency of who the VCs are and so on, how much they're borrowing, how much they're, bringing to the pool and so on, and what the interest rates are, right? That is transparency. You appreciate that. This is no meme token, right? This is the real McCoy. You see what blockchain they're using. In this case, Hyperrhythm is using Optimism. You even see some of these other ones with Mantle, right? So it gives you an idea of how this all works, as well as what stablecoins are used. In this example, Tether and also Circle. Okay. And of course, there's one example there with Wincent using Ethereum. So it's all there. Again, transparency. Glad to be able to, of course, see that. As we get more into this particular outline, you're going to see other things that, again, caught my eye. So there is this. Let's go ahead and share this as well. It says, by lending through these pools, you will basically be able to receive CP tokens in return, relevant to that specific pool. CP tokens have these characteristics. And this is where I want to get into the nitty gritty, because a lot of you guys, you hear talk about moon talk and it's just like to the moon, and that's all you hear. But it represents these characteristics, three things: the amount of liquidity provided, accrued interest, and being able to represent the risk profile of the borrower. With Clearpool, interest rates are dynamic. They follow a curve. They fluctuate. It depends on the proportion of pool liquidity being utilized by who? The borrower. The interest is accrued on every block, guys, and automatically added to the balance of liquidity. Wow. What does this mean in a nutshell for you and people who are new? It means higher utilization of the pool equals to higher interest rates. That sounds great. Conversely, lower utilization leads to lower interest rates, repelling liquidity. Might as well point that out. All right, we're going to get to the tokenomics here in a bit, but furthermore, each borrower has, or I should say pool, has an insurance account. This is good. You don't see this in meme tokens, just to be honest, you really don't. Insurance, maybe some, but not a lot, right? In the event of a default, insurance can be claimed by what, guys? The pool CP token holders, for example, the lenders. When a pool is closed, the insurance amount is used for what, guys? Cpool buybacks. That's cool. That's utility being used consistently. All right, here's the tokenomics. Cpool is the utility and governance token for what? The Clearpool protocol. LPs are additionally rewarded for supplying liquidity to borrower pools with Cpool. Cpool can also be staked to secure Clearpool oracles. And this is on multiple chains. So this is a great example of a low cap gem with utility in motion tied to what? Institutions. That sounds bullish as all hell. I don't care what anybody says. How about this? Revenue generated from all Clearpool platforms is used to buy back Cpool on the open market once per quarter. And if you're new to all this, again, Cpool is a ticker symbol for Clearpool. And if you're using CMC or CoinGecko, type in Cpool, you can pull it up, and we'll take you to those pages here in a bit. Cpool currently sits at a $66 million market cap. Again, this is kind of a somewhat old thread from May 2nd, so it's a little bit higher than that. It's 148.7 million FDV and trades at, for example, roughly around 15 cents. It's below that as we speak, right? So FDV as in fully diluted value, right? You guys know the drill. Okay. And here's a little bit in regards to distribution. You see how they have so much on reserves. You see the liquidity, rewards, partnerships. It's all there. They're transparent in regards to this. Private round, public round, the whole shebang. Okay. Here's the final notes in regards to this thread. Okay. So basically, you'll see here that Clearpool streamlines the funding process for crypto institutions by doing what, guys? Providing decentralized lending and a trusted platform for higher financial requirements. It offers relatively low risk method for earning yields and also rewards its token holders. I love this statement. Absolutely love that statement. Because you want to know something? Last bull market, there was a lot of different ones out there, especially when it comes to like, your Celsiuses and so on that promise high yields, but man, do we have that trust there? So this has already been around since last bull market. And when it was released on a token offering, or it went public, I should say, went from roughly 39.40 to over $2.50 in basically 2.5 weeks. Hasn't reached those all-time highs yet, but this network for Clearpool has expanded, oh my gosh, leaps and bounds. So what do I have in regards to just more than what's on the surface? Well, man, have they been killing it with the info lately. So I want to jump into this, and this should be a familiar market maker for you guys. Now, there's no JASMY coverage for you guys tonight, but what is most important here? What is most important is understanding birds of the feather do flock together, and boom, here you go. DFW Labs, yep, we're familiar with it in regards to JASMY. They are JASMY's market maker. And guess what? Also for Clearpool, interesting. Let's full screen this. So what you'll see here is that RWAs, like it says, are one of crypto's hottest narratives right now. And I'm going to get more into why that's so hot. But we're going to dive into different types of protocols, infrastructures utilized in the real world asset space. DWF Ventures is always on the lookout for innovative projects working with RWAs. And if anything, does it show Clearpool? Yes, it does. It lists them basically in the capital markets area. You see it along with Maple, which, boy, oh boy, Maple's another good project. Very low supply, right? Shout out to Channing Harrell. He covers Maple. He's invested in Maple. I'm not. I missed out on Maple, but nonetheless, great project, right? You see that DWF Labs, for example, /Ventures does other ones. Notice a common thing here, Relio. Man, me and Mike Cornwell have killed it on Aurelio, right? Some of you guys are into Proppy. There's even Chainlink. I'm into Chainlink. Some of these other ones, okay? So the point is, interesting to see DWF Labs even part of this. All right. What else do we have that's new? Well, as you can see here, look at this. Avalanche posted this. Clearpool reposted this. How recent is this? May 6th, yesterday. Interesting. Look at this. Institutional adoption, crypto and DeFi rapidly gaining momentum. Increased demand for on-chain credit. Yes, you read it right. It's not just Hedera doing this, guys, right? Understanding that there's other ones that are still low market cap that we should pay attention to. And don't get me wrong, I will do a follow-up in regards to BSL. But if you're in a BSL, why aren't you into Clearpool? Let's just be real about that. Clearpool's launched a credit vaults on Avalanche. Again, another blockchain. Awesome. So it signals a paradigm shift in on-chain real-world assets. I remember this guy, Jacob Kronbeikerler, if I pronounced it right. He has a recording of last week's Money Move Spaces, and they're constantly doing things. Who is he being interviewed with? It's Morgan Krupetsky, Senior Director of BD Institutions, again, institutions and capital markets of Ava Labs. So they're really, really working with the bigger players. Let me give you another example, also from Clearpool. Since 1 week since the RWA Vault launch with Clearpool, look at this, guys. 25% yield offered, 30x in liquidity, $0 fees paid by users. You got it right. One click to get an optimized, covered, and diversified deposit. Hurry up, won't last long. I mean, if you choose to do so. Let's expand on this for a second. Idle DAO posted this, introducing this. You have RWA, you have Tether, best yield vault on Optimism, fixed allocated vault offering what, guys? Diversified access to institutional real-world credit pools, or I should say real-world asset credit pools, yielding double-digit returns. I mean, guys, this is not me talking out of frustration, okay? But let's be honest, there's not a lot of people talking about what we're going to do when we've made it. Why don't we talk about this more? We should talk about this more. When people talk about exit strategies, do they really have it? Do you really have it? I'm not trying to, poke the bear or anything like that. But I feel as though all of us should have some kind of strategy, right? For all of this, And what if it's not investing into or, putting anything onto this platform for Clearpool for your exit plan? I get that. What if you just are like a person like, hey, man, I'm down. Clearpool sounds awesome. I want to get into that. I'll show you a little bit more in regards to, the supply and the listings and all that, where you can get this at, right? But all this stuff is definitely worth pointing out. And for me personally, this is my second bull market. I'm not going to wing the exit plan any more than the next guy. Okay. So let's go ahead and full screen this. Let's jump back into this. I think this is good material tonight. And I do see that the numbers have, gone up, which is cool. Maybe I just didn't put the show out an hour in advance or whatever the case be. And there's other shows going on. And I get that. So yeah, yielding double-digit returns. Yeah, everybody knows about that emoji, right? Weekly optimism rewards and fee waiving for early liquidity pools or providers, right? Details in the thread. I don't want to necessarily get into all this, but you're more than welcome to look at this, okay? And I have retweeted this, okay? Cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. And it just gets more and more into this, okay? Next part I want to get into is another one that was shared from Clearpool. May 2nd, basically, straight from Clearpool Finance. Clearpool continues to expand its borrower types, innovate as the protocol explores new frontiers in real-world assets, RWA lending, and you better believe that's happening as we speak across the board. They have this whole thing of highly efficient use of capital and sophisticated risk management systems. How so? Because it's a capital markets ecosystem. Look at this. Clearpool extending its reach, enabling more traditional finance institutions to participate in DeFi, unlocking new lending opportunities for its community. It's not just VCs, right? And they got more of what they've done. Back to the example, Prime and those brokerages. Wow. All right, a little bit more about this. How we talk about quant and securitize. Shout out to Quant Papa. So, I'm having apparently internet problems again tonight. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, I apologize. Look what's mentioned here. Because we do talk about quant, securitize. We talk about Stellar with securitize, right? So, Clearpool, part of this mix as well? Yes. How so? Full screen this as well. And like you see here, demand for tokenized real-world assets never been higher. And this is cited from Securitize, and you had Clearpool paying homage to Securitize. Interesting. And what did this open up? Yeah, you better believe it. It opened up the whole thing of, for example, BlackRock. If you don't see me on camera much, it's because I'm having internet issues and I don't want you guys to see all that lag. So we're going to get through it, but basically it's like this. Securitize, excited to announce when, back on May 1st, about a week ago, they have completed $47 million in funding round led by BlackRock together with Hamilton Lane. Some of you guys are familiar with them, right? Alternative investment management firm, private market services, investors around the world. Private markets. Wow. Don't forget that part. You're going to hear a segment. You're going to see a visual here. Hopefully the internet's working better by that point for you can, I can pound it home. But guys, look what it says. Parafy Capital, alternative asset management tech firm, operates in liquidity, venture strategies, and so on's part of this. You got Tradeweb part of this, global economic markets. And for example, Aptos, you guys know about Aptos. Some of you guys are invested in some of the stuff, right? Circle, of course, for the stable coins, and even Paxos, right? We know what they recently did with PayPal, and of course, what they always do with gold. So this, I would agree, proves that the demand for tokenized real-world assets has never been higher, and Securitize is the market leader. Why would Clearpool cite them? It's real-world assets. Don't, get it twisted, as the saying goes. Jumping over to this part real quick. Here's the exit strategy. Boom. Look at this. Look more into it, for real. You talk about being into having an exit plan. Do you really? I love this statement. It's the second time I share this. Don't let your stable coins sit around. Lend your Circle and Tether on Clearpool and watch them grow. You have auto compounding, guys. You know, you also you can lend to vetted institutions, not just like, oh, I never heard of this, dog crap Inu thing. No, real vetted institutions. You appreciate that. You got to appreciate that. There's no lockup. No lockup? Really? You can withdraw anytime? That sounds cool. And look what it says. Lending. You got, APY, APR. You got Optimism, Mantle, Avalanche. There's other ones. I don't know why they didn't take some of the other ones. Look at some of the active pools here. This is cool. Hopefully this is big enough for you guys to see. If you're on the couch, maybe if you're not, I'll just go ahead and zoom in even that much more. I want to share this. This is cool. This is good stuff. I'm glad to share this tonight with you guys. So look at this for a second. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. You see Clearpool active pools, and my God, market ETH, borrower is Alpha Nonce, assets USDC, APR 12.51%. Look at this, market Optimism, borrower Fasanara Digital. This is another one that you can vet. Assets Tether, APR 10%, and it gets into all this. Lots of great examples. Look at this. That's a decent APR, man. You don't see anything really below 10%. Wow. That's not too shabby. Again, guys, exit plans. That's the way I'm looking at it. You better believe that is the way I'm looking at it. Now, am I done? No, I'm not done. So I want to get into this next part of what we have on the outline tonight. Let's jump into a little bit more about this. This is good stuff, okay? So you have this. Some of you guys wondering about the whole 100x. Let me do a stop share and reshare it. Sorry about that. So this is from CoinStats. Some of you guys follow CoinStats, okay? BlackRock and Coinbase partnership in real-world asset tokens signals Ondo. Rob, Crypto Future covers Ondo. You have Clearpool, and these 6 real-world asset coins could spike. Yeah, you read that right, 100x. As we get more into this, I'm going to share a video now with you guys. This is from April 3rd, 2024. We need a video segment, right? Listen to this. This is basically top real-world assets, crypto projects in 2024. Projects on what? Yeah, projects in regards to like what on BlackRock's radar. Could it be Clearpool? Listen to this yourself. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Share the program. Thanks for being here. Here we go.
At lucky number 7, we have Clearpool, a decentralized credit marketplace that's shaking things up in the world of on-chain lending. Clearpool has just announced a major enhancement to its interest rate mechanism for permissionless pools. This improvement gives borrowers much more flexibility by allowing them to incorporate a premium or discount to the interest rate parameters within their pool. But what does this mean for lenders and borrowers? Well, for borrowers, it means they can quickly adapt to changing market conditions and attract more liquidity when they need it by adjusting their interest rates. And for lenders, it means they can be incentivized with higher rates to provide that liquidity. This enhancement is a big deal because it shows Clearpool's commitment to creating a robust and efficient lending ecosystem for everyone involved. Clearpool is at the forefront of innovating the on-chain credit landscape by empowering borrowers with greater control over their interest rates. However, Clearpool's innovation doesn't end with interest rates. They're expanding their horizons with thrilling initiatives, such as their latest collaboration with Pal AI, aiming to integrate artificial intelligence into their ecosystem, enhancing its capabilities and offerings. The recent price movement of Cpool is indeed remarkable, with a substantial increase from $0.155 to 32 cents, effectively doubling its market capitalization from $70 million to $145 million within a mere month. This significant growth is a testament to Clearpool's innovative approach and its rising prominence in the real-world asset space. Such advancements not only demonstrate Clearpool's potential to disrupt traditional financial mechanisms, but also underscore its capacity to reach a market capitalization of at least $1 billion. Clearpool's trajectory reflects a growing interest and confidence in the integration of blockchain technology with real-world assets, positioning it as a pivotal player in this evolving market. Revest Finance continues to make waves in the world of real-world assets with their innovative product, Resonate. Resonate offers a unique solution for DAOs and token holders, allowing them to trade time for money through an automated queue-based matching system. Recently, Resonate has expanded its offerings by partnering with backed finance.
All right, sorry about that. Just want to do the Clearpool part. Later on, I'll, of course, chop that up. The next part I want to get into is basically what you're about to see right here. And that is this. You're going to see May 6th interview. Markets have wildly, have a widely swinging narrative. It says BlackRock's Lee, I forgot the Leeway, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, I'll play this. You got to listen to this. This was literally yesterday. It's 2 minutes. Listen to this for a second. This is good stuff. And we're going to get into a little bit more about all this. Let's go ahead and share this on the screen. Listen to this. Nice to get somebody else other than just Larry Fink, right? Look what it's going to mention here. And yeah, let's go ahead and play this. Here we go.
What does Friday change for you and the team, if anything at all?
What we have seen last week was pretty remarkable. The Fed embraced high for longer. Markets priced in for high for longer, and the Fed endorsed it, essentially. And markets didn't blink, right? So this wildly swinging narrative, I would say, is a feature of this new macro regime of elevated macro uncertainty, where cyclical forces are interacting with structural forces in very unpredictable ways. So having repriced number of rate cuts from 7 at the beginning of the year to 1 early last week, I guess it's not a surprise that on one weaker print on the payroll, markets then jump to the other side. But what is really remarkable is that the Fed endorsed high for longer, but markets are holding up against broadly supportive earnings backdrop. And on top of that, there is still room for repricing to take place, which is why we're overweight US equities.
Does this mean you need to be hyper-tactical, or does it mean that you need to cling to different themes, get away from the cycle and focus on the structural forces?
I think it means both. I think given the very wildly swinging narrative that we're seeing in markets, there is room to generate additional alpha by leaning against some of those extreme moves. And on top of that, we have seen how mega forces like AI, how mega forces like aging population, healthcare have been generating additional kind of return on top of what the cyclical elements would suggest, which is why increasingly we're baking in mega forces in our portfolio construction, both tactically and strategically.
Tactical strategy of BlackRock. Yeah, you guys understand the bigger picture. Is that it? No, it's not. Look at this. Let's jump into this as well. I've gone ahead and fast forward this. This is your main highlight. The finale, I guess you could say, in regards to this. You have to hear this for yourself. This is something else. This, in my opinion, is why I am so freaking bullish on Clearpool, and looking forward to covering it maybe a little bit more, because let's face it, it does deserve the honorable mention. So this one says why BlackRock is betting on private markets. What specific markets? Is it RWA? Is it capital market ecosystems? Yeah, you know where we're going with this. Again, check this out for yourself. I'm going to go ahead and play this. Thanks for being here. Here we go.
We'll talk about how you, though, tailor make these products, because I think the reorganization of BlackRock seems to kind of be hitting at that idea here that, of course, you had this big umbrella. It was once a small umbrella. Now it's this big umbrella of assets, and you can't really market it as this big one thing anymore. You have to have it much more tailor-made, and we heard that a lot from a lot of the LPs and some of these funds basically saying they want to see a little bit more niche, if you will.
It was a small umbrella. It is a bigger umbrella. It is not a big umbrella. Of the $300 billion in alts, about 84 billion of that was already liquid credit, your conventional high yield credit, leverage finance, CLOs. Again, 20 years back, they might have been novel products. Now they're as mainstream as they get. What they did call out are two important areas.
What's
the
that?
direct equity stakes in investing business.
Yeah.
That's where they're seeing a lot of interest. And private credit, which they're not the first firm to talk about it,
Right.
but they clearly recognize the opportunity
And
there.
private credit, we're talking about direct lending?
Exactly,
Yeah,
direct lending, and that's why they have shifted the person, Jimmy Keenan, who ran all of their credit business, and tasked him with focusing just on this private credit business.
I think, and it's interesting because we bring that up. We were talking a little bit earlier. It was Blackstone and the idea that they're looking to partnership with some of the regional lenders here to, I guess, continue down into that space here. What's sort of the end game for them here? Because at some point there is concern about regulation, right? That the shadow banking system is really not in the shadows anymore. It is the system for the most part here. And if they do push these products to a level where we get that exponential growth that we saw over the last 10 to 20 years, over the next 10 to 20 years, should they be expecting additional regulation?
There might be additional concern. There might be a lot more scrutiny. But the fact is, these markets are growing. And it doesn't seem like a cyclical thing. This is a secular change that's taking place. Previously, if a company had to borrow money, it went to the bank kept that on its balance sheet. That a lot of that has changed, right? That is why we have a thriving leverage finance market and some of these other changes, the growth of the private credit market. It's hard to see a catalyst right now that would put an end to it.
Yeah, and I'm glad you bring that up because I think about what's going to drive these alternative businesses, the private businesses further. And certainly cheap debt helped fuel private equity. Debt is less cheap than it used to be. When it comes to private credit, talk a little bit about how the tighter regulations on banks and the tightening standards for banks is really going to drive private credit in the coming years.
It's been a trend you've seen over the last decade. The banks have to be careful about how much lending they can do. They have to set aside capital for the type of lending that they do. So they are somewhat constrained. But there are these other players who have long-term capital, locked up capital that they can put to work. And then eventually you will see good returns, or at least they've seen good returns. And even though interest rates are being jacked up, and this is not the zero interest rate policy environment we were in a few years ago, it is still a conducive environment for the growth of this private market.
I think you got it in a nutshell for the most part, right? That interview literally says it all. How many times did you hear credit? How many times did you hear about, these capital markets, especially, it says Clearpool is a capital markets ecosystem, private markets, BlackRock's going all out on some of this. Gee, I wonder why, right? In closing, let's pull this up. If you're new to Clearpool, you don't know where to go, you don't know where to get it. Again, I'm not paid by Clearpool. I just always thought it was a solid project. I've been into Clearpool since it originally came out, late 2021. And if you end up getting it, they call you a pool sider. There's the XRP army and whatnot. You get to be called a pool sider. Anyway, it's kind of a cool thing. So let's pull this up. This is straight from CMC. Yeah, we could reference, for example, CoinGecko and so on, right? So you will see here, basically speaking, that Cpool only has 1 billion tokens. Okay, not a crazy huge supply. This is not a meme token with trillions or quadrillions, right? It has 1 billion. So 3, 6, 9. Yep, that's in a number. That's 1 billion. Okay. How many of it's in circulation? Well, as much as we would like it to be at like 80% or higher, it's not at that yet. It's at 45.30%. I understand that people would prefer it being at 80% or higher. Got to point that out, right? It's not just, hey, this is great news and so on. But again, we're in the bull market. I just don't feel as though it's going to be necessarily that big of a deal. And I'm already seeing some big gains from the end of the bear market, where it was down as much as 1.50 pennies. And where I bought my last bag at 2 cents to where it's at now. Okay. So it's on multiple chains. It's not just Ethereum like you see here. They have bridges over to Polygon, Mantle, Optimism, Avalanche, you name it. If you wonder where to get it, numerous places you can get it. You can get it on KuCoin. If you want to go for example, a decentralized marketplace. You can go with Uniswap if you're still using Ethereum. I don't see why you want to do that, but I get it. For example, they have xt.com. I know some of you guys use that. Outside the United States, AscendX. Okay. And there's some other ones, right? CoinX, and so on. So I understand that, for us in America, if you're not wanting to do the whole thing of VPNs and so on with KuCoin, you're going to have to, I guess, stick with your Uniswaps and so on. Okay. For me, I've got it off of KuCoin. It's not that hard. You just basically send from an American, address to KuCoin, do a swap. You can get it, but I get it, right? So there's some of the places where you can get this. And of course, you want to learn more about than what I just talked about. There is this, which basically in a nutshell, we already talked about all this, right? So look more into it. Glad to bring it to you guys. That is the Clearpool coverage of the day. Won't be every day we talk about Clearpool, but glad to bring it into you guys tonight. Did again over 40 videos on Clearpool. My first videos on this channel ever were on Clearpool. So obviously glad to talk about it again tonight. Let's take a pause, kick it back to the comments, and then we're going to get into the next key highlight tonight, which maybe some of you guys feel as though should have been at the beginning, but whatever the case be, we're going to get into, and that is, of course, Stellar. Big thanks for Stellar. I'm telling you flat out, they're going after the neck, the throat of Ethereum. Right in the neck, Mike Cornwell. Right in the freaking neck, right? Absolutely. A little inside joke. Okay. Me, Mike Cornwell, Edward Vincent. Anyway. All right. So what we're going to do now is, yes, get back into some of those comments. Again, thank you so much, you guys, for being here. I don't know why I'm having some intermittent, internet problems, other than like there's a lot of wind and stuff, but it is what it is. So let's see where I was at last. I think I'm kind of somewhat behind on some of the comments. All right. So you guys talk about the Timberwolves and basketball, which is cool. All right. Let's read this from the Coin Guy. He says he's praying that JASMY hits $5 so he can retire and live out the best life. Come on, Hara. Cool stuff, man. If I skipped anybody's comments, it was on purpose. Stump Riders in the house. Thank you for being here, Mr. Stump. And currently speaking on YouTube, we have 37. Not the biggest numbers, probably because I'm talking about something we never really talked about much. And then, on X, we got good numbers. So 132 total. Not bad, not complaining. GG, Digital G says, what's up, everyone? Max, Tim, Boomer, and Cool Cat. And WF Capital, welcome back. He says, Timmy, right? South Park. Anyway. Brian Dowie, good to see you, man. I don't know if you were here yesterday. That was pretty good coverage, too. All right, let's read this from Crypto Coin Guy with his Elmo token. Question for kicks and giggles. Can we get deep dive into Bitcoin? It could help educate newer investors. I'm not going to do that. There's plenty of info in regards to that. And, what Bitcoin are you talking about? Are we talking about BSV? Are we talking about BTC? You know what I mean? If I cover BTC, I should say, I look at it from the perspective it's like super saturated. Like me, as you guys know, I like Shiba Inu, right? Do I really talk about much here and do a bunch of deep dives? No, there's so many content creators to do that. It's too saturated. So I have to value my time just as much as you guys value coming on here and so on. If I see something that was unique that I could bring to the table that I noticed that maybe not a lot of people talked about, I'd do something like that. But I'm going to go with a no on that one. But I do appreciate the suggestion. Okay? I'm not going to beat around the bush. All right. Let's get a nice warm welcome to Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. Thanks for being here, man. Honestly, you've been a long-time supporter, Mr. Lambo. Don't ever think I don't notice that. So, Corey Bebe's in the house. He says, greetings, future crypto millionaires. Yes, Mr. Corey Bebe. Just not the scam. Let's go. Casper, not the scam. All right. Dennis Leal's in the house, 6:19 p.m. So, not too long ago. And you want to see the SHX announcement? Yeah, Tim Shea had it. I'll get into that tomorrow. I don't really want to make these marathon shows anymore. once in a while, I'm down to do it, but I just don't want to do it all the time. So we're going to get into that. Some other announcements I guess you guys saw with Velo. I'm not personally invested in Velo, but I can recognize it's a good project. But I will at least cover SHX because I'm personally invested in SHX. So that's cool though. That's very bullish, as as Brian Dowdy has pointed out. All right, Mr. Lambo's Crypto Talk. I haven't asked this in a while, but what's the latest XLM price prediction? Is it going to be a high stable price like XRP? Yes, that's the way I look at it. But you can get info from some of the guys that are sharing their opinions here. Let's see here. Oh, he always says that, man. It's just a little inside joke that he always says. All right, let's see here. Dingy, aka Dinu, order 66. He says, "What's up from X? Thank you for being here, man." All right, let's see here. Yeah, I missed the boat on Arc Block, man. I remember I was gonna pull the trigger on that. I missed the boat on that. It's literally done a 30x. So I know most of us are looking for the 100x's and higher, but come on, get credit where credit's due. Arc Block, right? LCX has done really well as well. Yep, I agree. And I'm looking forward to, I talked to Rue Black about this. I don't know if Rue's watching the show right now. Shout out to Rue. And that is, instead of just Swift Coin next time, we will get into some LCX. We need to, we don't really get to LCX. Like, you can't really, I don't know anybody could talk about LCX every day. There's not enough news about it. But, come on, we could come up with something somewhat recent in regards to that. Been learning a little bit more about this, so thank you for that, Beebs. All right, let's welcome Behoodet. I like how you spell that out for me. Thank you. So Behoodet Mott, if I pronounce it right. XRPayNet is doing its thing with Volta. Stellar fam should look into Dog Star Coin. And here's another one. By the way, welcome Behoodet Mott. I'm going to call you Behoodet. We always welcome, people to your community. So, guys, give them a nice welcome. Nice looking couple here, looking sharp. Project winner on Stellar. Awesome. Very cool. You think of Deadpool when you say Clearpool? I do want to see Deadpool 3 because, I like the last two movies. And, come on, man. Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. That's cool. Everybody thought, with Logan, that was it. But apparently not. So, should be cool. And knowing that it's rated R, come on. What's there not to like, right? All right. Richie Rich, I did thank you earlier for that. Thank you so much. We got River in the house. Hey, man. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you. Kenneth Robinson's also back. Appreciate you being back. We are so ahead of the rest of the world. Many projects will fail. These projects just won't. By the way, it's prophecies about some of these ISO coins or cryptos. Words of wisdom. Thank you. All right. Let's see here. This is also from Kenneth Robinson. ISO cryptos will be the new financial system backbone. These projects with the utilities will have a lot of growth. I agree. I'm glad that you're paying attention to all that stuff, man. Probably long before you join this channel. So that's cool. Right on. All right. Let's go further down. I could have sworn I saw some other familiar face here. I thought I saw the one and only Mentalect, but I guess my mind was playing tricks on me like the Ghetto Boys, right? Anyway, too bad we can't play some Ghetto Boys when my mind plays tricks on me, because YouTube will have a hissy fit, and say, well, you can't be monetized, or we're going to pull the rug on your channel. X, they could care less, right? Elon Musk could give two you-know-whats when it comes to that, which is kind of cool. All right, so how about this? What are my thoughts on Veracity? I think it's a good project. I never got into it. There's a lot of things I would like to get into, but I haven't, if you add up all the stuff that, I want to get into, I'm looking at, now, it used to be $28,000. Now it would probably be over $40,000. So there's things I'm into that you guys aren't. I think Clearpool is clearly one of them, right? But I do think Veracity is still a good project. All right, Bob Franklin, SHX Velo, that one, buckle up. I know which one that one is. I just don't want to cover that one. nothing against it. All right, River. Hey, Brian. Yeah, it is a great song. Back in the day, I know Brian Dowie. Shout out to great 80s and 90s hip hop, right? All right, we're gonna get into the last bit of coverage of the night, and it basically is Stellar. Okay, and when I say Stellar is going after the throat of Ethereum, I'm not kidding about that. I saw something that really caught my eye that I felt as though needed to be shared. Okay, so let's pull up the branding for this. It's going to be a good, solid outline. I think we even have maybe some. I don't know if we have a video clip, but it won't really matter tonight. Like yesterday, we had that. You guys got to see it for yourself, right? So back-to-back days on Stellar, pretty darn cool, So basically, let's pull this up. And man, I'm telling you, this was recent. We obviously talk about Stellar quite a bit. We talk about Sorbonne quite a bit. Protocol 21. What exactly is that? Well, simple. It is literally Sorbonne, the premier smart contract platform for Stellar. Why is that such a big deal? Well, smart contracts. As we know, Ethereum's ERC20 is the most used, most popular smart contract out there. Second most popular is what Solana apparently provides. But for Stellar to get into the mix and take it to the next level, and especially when it comes to fees being dramatically cheap, is huge, right? A lot of people haven't researched Stellar. They look at the current prices. They're like, this ain't doing much. Why would I be invested in that? You got to understand the bigger picture. You always point out a mile away people that have done the research compared to the ones that haven't done it. It's no knock or disrespect on people, but that's just the way it is. All right. So recent news. Let's take you to the news. And by the way, announcement at the end. Stick around for that. There's going to be an AMA coming up here soon on May 9th. I'm going to show you guys some info in regards to that. So again, smash the like. Let's share the program. This is retweeted from lovely Danelle. Danelle has this announcement. Pretty cool. Let's jump into it. So she goes on to say that on to the next one. Protocol 21 vote is around the corner. Exciting stuff. Guys, this is today, May 7th, 2024. So what is she pointing out? Well, 3 things to know before the June 18th validator vote. And that is this SECP 256R1 verification. Cap 0051 boosts security and usability. I know this is some of the nerd talk, but just hear me out. Community-driven caps like 0053 enhance state archival. Ecosystem continually works to maintain network efficiency. More on Protocol 21. Again, Protocol 21 is just the terminology of it's a glorified way of saying Sorbonne. All right. So every time you see Protocol 21, just immediately think Sorbonne because that's basically what it is. Okay. So I wanted, of course, to point that out as well. And as we get more into this, I'm going to pull up the next part. This is, again, straight from Stellar, officially Stellar. Okay. June 18, 2024, Stellar Public Network validators will vote on this upgrade, like she pointed out. Get ready for potential game-changing features like passkey, signing support, and cost improvements for smart contract transactions. Now, this part really, really caught my eye because Justin Rice of Sorbonne has pointed out that you're going to have these new ways of validating a person who they are and so on. We're talking about Web3 coming up here, okay? So I'm going to take you to this next part, and basically it goes to this. Let's pull this up. There's a thread from stellar.org announcing Protocol 21, aka, Sorbonne. Published when? May 7th. This is today. This is why I'm bringing it to you guys 2 days in a row. We're Sorbonne. Or Stellar, I should say. So what was really interesting is what you see here in regards to the Sorbonne smart contract platform, all the success of what they've done but more importantly, how the validators will vote on this upgrade for the network and the advancements, the proposals more specifically. Here's the reference back to what Justin Rice was talking about when we did the coverage yesterday. 5 caps introduced some exciting new features such as passkey signing support and improvement to state archival, which was authored by community member TDEP. Okay? Look what it says. Cost improvements for smart contract transactions. As we know already, when it comes to Stellar, you can move 10 million in USDC for 0.50 and a 1. Nobody else can even touch that when it comes to transaction fees. Someone maybe BSV, but what we've done is we've noticed that this is the cheapest, least expensive. So here's some 3 key highlighted points. And as I got into it, I saw here that you have this whole thing of how they're demonstrating how to improve some things. But most importantly, it's not that Stellar is providing basically just like, oh, we're getting to the smart contract, mix. Because it seems like a cool thing to do. No. It's been a constant complaint when it comes to Ethereum, especially. These darn gas fees and slow tech and just like dinosaur, technology, right? Stellar's taking it to the next level. Let's get into why they are taking it to the next level and the specifics. Can we give examples? Well, yes. It's this right here. This functionality, SECP 256R1 verification. It's the support for the smart contracts via this host interface. But more importantly, it's a signature algorithm, guys, used in this thing called WebAuthn. I don't know if that's German, but basically it's a standard. Remember when we talked about standards, where there's Quant with ISO TC307, the standard for building on blockchain, or ISO 222 standards, or other ISO standards. But look at this. Standards behind passkeys available on browsers, computers, phones. The approval of CAP will enable this verification. But I want to get into this specifically, WebAuthn, right? When I hear that, I think of myself like web authentication is what I would basically imagine. Briefly speaking, I thought I'd get into this because it's an old reference from 2019, and I like how they do this. It brings you to a site called octa.com. Back in March of 2019, it says basically the World Wide Web Consortium announced that WebAuthn is the official web standard for password-free login. And you have Stellar wanting to take this to the next level and do it through what? Smart contracts? So they are doing something big for Web3. And what does it also state? Currently exists on Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Firefox, our mobile phones and so on. But the key thing is widespread adoption of WebAuthn is expected in coming years. We're already there, right? You're literally seeing this Proposal 21, this upgrade, okay? So I like how they reference this for the nerds. And you may be wondering, like, I don't care about this. I just want to see Moon talk, and that's it. Here's why this is important, guys. Look what it says here. It's these credentials. As we know, too many are familiar with usernames and passwords as a method of authentication. This specific standard, or framework, I should say, guys, is easy to understand for the common consumer. Listen to this. 1 in 5 Americans have experienced account takeovers, right? We've seen this. I mean, it's not a good thing, but it happens every day. So you have this average of like an end user having 130, online accounts. My God, businesses should look to mature their framework of user authentication for the material effect on their business. Of course, there's 2 form factor. Heck, they even have 3 form factor, right? There's benefits, but the benefits blanket over to specifically like stakeholders, customers, product owners, so on and so forth. The support teams. Remember how Gilbert Varian talks about everything needs to be frictionless, right? So Stellar is doing something big when it comes to this. And of course, there's a breakdown of how this all works. And I don't want to get to that specifically, but you do appreciate that they even gave us an idea of why this is so important. Getting into the next part, let's jump back to this. You will see here that you have the whole thing of these passkeys. But most importantly is how they offer what? Is how they offer faster, more secure method of identity authentication, by using encrypted data stored on the device and performing user verification with what, guys? Biometrics. This is back to what Justin Rice was literally saying in yesterday's video. Now, I, of course, uploaded a chopped up version of that video and went live, of course, before the show. Maybe there's some people watching that. Maybe that's what caused the numbers to be down on the live. And it's okay. Sometimes I'm not sweating it when it comes to the numbers. Really, I'm not. Because it'll make up for itself. We all have different schedules. I get that. But what Justin Rice of Sorbonne specifically mentioned is this that you literally see here. Now, why point that out? And if anything, why am I excited about it? We'll get more into the nitty-gritty about this. Look at this. So it's fingerprint facial recognition. He literally talked about this on the Stellar Development Foundation video that he put out 6 days ago. It was towards the end, and I went ahead and fast-forwarded to it. Maybe you guys already saw that video I put out today. But, guys, the use of passkeys for signing transactions remains largely, what does this say? Come on, are we not paying attention? We're talking about freaking Caroline again, pogo sticks. Largely unadopted in Web3 and is still a proposal for the what? Ethereum network. Yeah, Vitalik has literally kicked this thing or swept it under the rug because Ethereum is such garbage, right? We know that. He doesn't have a real solution for it. And if anything, the solution is to do what? Roll up. Is that keeping everything on chain? No, not really. When you had to go through third parties, roll ups and so on, that's not keeping everything internalized and whatnot. So there's benefits to roll ups and we get that. But, again, it's security and so on. You have to go with other ones. And there's some legitimate layer 2s out there. Don't get me wrong, right? But Stellar is keeping it all internalized within their own blockchain. And if anything, expanding to smart contracts. So when this comes, you better believe they're going for the throat of freaking Ethereum and they're going after it big time. Right in the neck, right? Right in the freaking neck. Look at this for a second. Because guess what? I said to myself, wow, a lot of times you see things that's posted, but no one takes the liberty to expand on it more. Let's expand on this more. This is a really big deal. I want to explain why it's such a big deal. So, as you can see here, if you were to go here and click on this, and by the way, if you want to nerd out, it's on stellar.org/blog. It talks about how it's going to showcase how Sorbonne is ahead of the curve. Boy, is it ever ahead on the curve. And what else do we have? Remember how I was talking about this whole thing with X? Look what it says. Look what it says. You want to see how using pass keys allows for incredibly simple and intuitive Web3 experience? Check out STF ecosystem engineer Tyler van der Hoeven's pretty awesome passkey signing demonstration on X. Yeah, on X. We already talked more than enough times about how I believe with my thesis about how Stellar will be the chosen one for X. Again, if you're brand new to all this, you owe it to yourself to watch that. I know it's a super long deep dive. It's the thumbnail in the video section that literally shows Elon Musk and he's holding like a thing of Stellar and he's wearing like a hood. Okay. Again, just go to the video section. But most importantly, let's get back to the topic. So let's pull this up. Here we go. This is a problem for Ethereum, but Stellar is embracing it. This is why I'm telling you flat out, guys. Stellar is going for the neck of Ethereum, right? Going right after the throat, the jugular, okay? Look at this. Let's go ahead and blow this up. Make it nice and big for people like Boomer F. Sooner sitting on his couch with his dog Monica. Shout out to Monica, the dog. We're not talking about puppy dog news tonight. We're talking about real blue chips here. We're talking about Stellar. People that complaining about Stellar not moving in price. I don't want to be part of that. You don't understand the bigger picture. This is the bigger picture, and look at it for yourself. EIP 7212 precompiles for SECP 256R1 curve support. Vitalik, Buterin, and Ethereum never embrace this? Probably because they didn't have the tech, right? They have the smart contracts, but do they have the tech? So this proposal to add precompiled contract that performs signature verifications. Back to what Justin Rice was talking about. You have all this content, table of contents, how it all works, and so on. I don't want to get necessarily into all that. But in its abstract, this has a proposal to create a precompiled contract to perform signature verifications in this elliptic curve by giving parameters message hash, components of signature, coordinates to public key, so that any EVM chain, principally, in principle, the Ethereum rollups will be able to integrate this precompiled contract. Yeah, you read it right, easily. Very, very easily. And most importantly is to understand some of these other things that are listed here. And that is what? This says the cost of combined attacks and the security conditions are almost the same for both curves. But if you have a pre-compiled contract, you can do some other big things. And that basically is like this important factor, where the curve is widely used and supported by many modern devices such as Apple's Secure Enclave. So, guys, look at this. Let's not overthink this. Ethereum is not even prepared for what Apple has in regards to support. How are we, come on. How are we realistically supposed to use Ethereum in its current state when you see things like this? They're not preparing for Web3 at all. No, they're not. This is proof of that. But Stellar's embracing it because, again, like how many people have Apple phones? I don't. I've been labeled as a peasant. Shout out to Mike Cornwell and so on. I label myself, a peasant because I use Android. It's just a little joke, right? I'm not trying to pull a George or anything. But the point is, if you're not embracing innovation, you are going to be left in the dust, right? Absolutely. So this is all here. It's all verifiable. But the point, again, is mobile devices, right? Making them more efficient, flexible, signing the transactions. Remember how Justin Rice says we can't get into it now? Are you kidding? It's already here. I'm getting into it now. You guys tuning in tonight are getting into it now. All right, look at this. You have this whole thing, and it says Apple's Secure Enclave, separate trusted execution environment. Apple's hardware, which signs arbitrary messages, can only be accessed by the biometric identification. I don't even need to get more into this to understand or have you guys understand how crucial this is when we move to the next era of Web3. But most importantly, messages. And what else do we know? We know about ISO 222 and how that in itself is going to help out big time when it comes to the banks, because that is a more ideal solution when it comes to not having, truncated messages and so on, and be, have more faster and efficient communication. This is now with smart contracts. So yes, you better believe that Stellar is coming for the throat of Ethereum. 110%. Now, in closing, before I wrap this up completely, I want to point out just one more thing, okay? And this is my own notes. So remember how I talked about SECP26R1, right? Well, it's this adoption, okay? Mass adoption. Ethereum doesn't want to tackle the problem, but Stellar does. That's the bottom line. So it's this verification of Stellar Sorbonne smart contracts, right? Significant, numerous reasons. I won't get into a whole grocery list of it, but there's two main improved security and user experiences that I want to get into with you guys tonight before we wrap this up. Passkey leverages for biometrics. Transactions, as we know, are signed using fingerprint or facial recognition stored. Justin Rice, when he does his update, you will see him get more into that. I'm just being honest. What else is he really going to talk about? I'm spilling the beans before he does, for crying out loud. That's no me pat myself on the back. That's just me being real. I could read just as much as the next guy, right? But it's being able to securely do all this on the user's device, more importantly, an Apple iPhone, and it eliminates the need for remembering complex passphrases or keeping private keys secure. If we talk about mass adoption when it comes to these assets, or most importantly, reaching a day in time where finally, Stellar XLM is being used to buy groceries, pay your bills, all this stuff. You have to make it easy. You cannot embrace the old tech. I mean, not even that long ago when, the whole thing of the pandemic happened, we finally reached to the whole thing where you take the credit card and you touch the device instead of taking your hand and physically putting it in and so on, right? How we even take it to the next level. Well, Stellar's obviously doing that, and they're doing it how? Through smart contracts, and they're trying to take it to the next level. They're not just embracing Web 2. They're saying, guess what? We already have on and off ramps. We're embracing Web 3. We're taking it to the next level. Nobody is really, if you think about looking more into this. And, I'm not trying to sound like, what's his name, with the Ricola, right? You're only going to get it here. No, not like that. But I have not personally seen more people elaborate on it. I just want to throw that out there, okay? But what's also important? Well, it's reducing the risk of phishing attacks, stolen credentials. We talk about the internet of trust. If we really want to get people on board with it, they have to be convinced that this is a trustworthy, new tool for the next era. What era? Web 3. All right. Talked about all that tech. What about faster authentication, guys? I'm telling you flat out, that needs to get mentioned. So biometric verification, generally, as we know, quicker than entering passwords, leading to a more smoother, of course, user experience. That's a win. Sign me up. Especially if it is more quicker, more efficient. I mean, come on. You just need to look at something and then boom, biometric scan. Remember with JASMY how we talked about Mofira, I think it's called Mofiria, with the vein? This is Stellar, and they have a different approach to it. Very cool. All right. More about authentication real quick. How does this position Stellar at the forefront, guys? Listen to this, for Web3 authentication. Well, early adoption of passkeys. Hear me out on this as well. While Ethereum is still considering functionality, we'll get to that. I'll pick my nose, my Vitalik buterin. We'll just kick this, can down the road even more. While they're still considering this functionality, Stellar Sorbonne contracts are ready for passkey integration. Yeah, boil it, mash it, stick it in stew, potentially giving Stellar a first mover advantage. I cannot wait to see some of the people in the comments saying, oh yeah, while you are you hold on to your Stellar at 11 cents, I'm going to go make money. I never forget that guy's comment. Nothing against them, but come on. You're going to paper hand generational wealth. Give me a break. All right, back to this whole thing I talked about earlier about web authn, right? It sounds like web authentication. It sounds kind of German. That's standard compatibility. Before we really, really wrap it up, I know I keep saying that. Supporting SEC P256R1 allows developers to build applications that basically seamlessly integrate with the emerging web authn standard. Again, back since 2019 for passkey across browsers, devices. Wow. Right? And then on top of that, basically speaking, it's going to open the doors for wider adoption of Stellar in Web3 applications. Wider mass adoption, because now they're going to have the one-up on Ethereum. So if Ethereum with ERC20 is the most popular of smart contracts, do you finally have an idea why Max and all these other guys won't shut the heck up when it comes to Stellar's Sorabon, this Protocol 21? Yeah, I think you get an idea. Guys, don't get it twisted. Overall, this move positions Stellar as a blockchain platform that prioritizes user security and a convenient user experience. Convenient user experience plus security plus speed plus low transaction fees. It's going to demonstrate, you guys, their commitment to staying ahead of the curve, no pun intended, in Web3 development. So with that said, that's going to close out the stellar coverage of the night. And I just want to state this. I am so impressed with what Stellar is doing and moving forward. If you understand the bigger picture, by George, don't listen to that mainstream retail narrative. It's just some random guy who doesn't know a squat and has done a lick of research when it comes to Stellar. Because when we talk about these ones that are part of not just my top 5, but maybe your top 5, when it comes to the ISOs, Stellar consistently is in my top 5, if anything, number 3, 4, right up there, right? Because I understand the bigger picture. We were all introduced to the concept of cryptocurrency at some point in this journey. And immediately, we didn't think crypto. We thought, for example, currency. How does this be an alternative for the traditional rails, cash and so on? You can see how it comes together, but it has to come together first. It doesn't come together overnight. Things had to be built. But you ever notice Danelle Dixon and all these people from Stellar, they're constantly expanding and they're recognizing what supply and demand needs to happen, what things need to be fixed. All right, enough about that. I'm going to kick it back to the comments. All right, so, man, that was some good stuff, right? All right, so, all right. I did see a super chat came through. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. It comes from Beebs. And he says, Max, I just want to say thanks for all you do. I really appreciate you, Professor Max with the Apple. Thanks, man. I do miss my students, but they're doing fine. They're going to be entering into the 7th grade. Shout out to them. But thank you, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. All of it does help. Don't ever think I don't ever notice that. No, appreciate. I always do. Whether I'm a small channel or a big channel, it's all very well appreciated. So you rock, Corey. Thank you so much. Boom. All right. Julio Gonzalez. Is Swift Coin on Coinbase, and does it have anything to do with Swift? So I want to state this, and I guess I have to do this every single time. This is not a gripe. All right. Every single time I put out a Swift Coin video, I need to put out a disclaimer at the top that's pinned that basically says that, Swift that we know, which is SWIFT, is not the Swift blockchain, okay? And there was a notice that Swift Coin or Swift blockchain reached out to Swift, as in the global cross-border traditional, messaging / financial company, right? They put out a notice to them that they can coexist. And that announcement was, I don't know if it was last year or maybe it was 2022, but that was done. They are not the same thing, okay? And I know for a lot of people, they feel as though like, oh, I didn't know that. And that's okay. When I was first introduced Swift, I was thinking the same thing. I thought it was like, oh, wow, Swift, like, as we know, like mainstream Swift, they're making a coin. That is not the case. It's just got a similar name and it's spelled differently. So SWIFT is not SWFT, as in the Swift blockchain. Okay. But there's tremendous value in Swift Coin because the connections to people like, for example, Tim Draper, his son, and so on. When it comes to Draper Associates, Tim Draper's a very, I don't know why he's not a bigger name than he is. He brings a lot to the table, billions, and his VCs and what they're invested into and so on. So I still look at Swift Coin as being like Chinese XRP. And I understand that, there's value there. And if you look at the supply of Swift coin, you only have 10 billion coins. Stellar has 50 billion. XRP, was 100 billion, right? Does that mean that Swift coin is going to be worth more than XRP? No. But I'm just looking at it from the perspective. There's great opportunity here. If you go look more into it, again, watch some of the videos where we introduce Swift coin, either myself, Rue Black, for example, there's Shift Focus, there's, Underdog Research Channel, and there's just too much that's there. We understand that they didn't have a lot going on necessarily last bull market, but now you're really starting to see that momentum. And, looking forward to obviously covering Swift coin more with Rue Black and some of these other guys that we've networked with. You owe it to yourself to follow these guys, especially Rue, especially Underdog Crypto, Shook Focus, and so on. They do an excellent job of breaking down Swift coin, and more in particular like Swift blockchain and so on. Great question though, Julio. Okay. All right, let's go and welcome April Cornwell. She says, hey, all my crypto peeps. Yes, hey, April Cornwell. I know, I always say it like that, don't I, April? April says she walked the whole zoo today. So sore, lol. Stopping by to say, hey, Max, hey, all, and then I sit back and watch. You put back as in BK. So you're going to enjoy some BK on Whopper Wednesday, right? And then you're going to watch. Just kidding. That's funny. We always have a little inside joke, me and April, about Burger King. It's kind of funny. But, well, thanks, April. Thank you, my friend, for, giving me a shout out. Glad to have you here. There's nothing wrong with being sore. I mean, I imagine if I start, exercising a lot, I'm probably going to get sore too. So anyway, I do need to get back into the swing of things. I'm weird. I'll go all out when it comes to exercise, and then go all out doing a crazy fast for 6 days, and, drop over 20 pounds and so on. And then a couple months later go by, and I'm just like, it's Taco Tuesdays. And then, you guys know the pain, right? You know how it goes. Anyway. Anybody familiar with GMX, Gamer Hash? I heard that one, but not super, super familiar. Like, hey, guys, here's the utility. Here's what it does, blah, 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 right? ETH scam. Yes, it is scam. All right. Let's see here. Let's go further down. Francisco, a.k.a. Dennis Leal, guys. Max brings the best deep dives. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. I always notice that you retweet the show and you get it out there. Like, you don't even have to do that, but, you're consistently here. You're part of the community. Francisco, you rock, man. Francisco, Dennis Lil, you always appreciate it. I'm glad you finally told us that, your first name is like Francisco, because, I used to think back in the day, I'm like, Dennis Lil. I'm like, is that like, the Brazilian or like, Hispanic way of saying Dennis? Like, instead of us going to like Denny's, are we going to go to Dennis's or something, Like, I don't know. That's a weird joke, but what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. I'm just giving an example. All right, April saying one is up to Boomer. Boomer says, yep, did okay. Picked my branches all afternoon. Grill was blown across the yard. Oh, no. Had some metal up against my building that got blown into the other side of the yard. Lost a deer feeder. Oh, no. Jeez, yeah, 47 big trees out back. Probably going to have to cut 14 down. Man. Yeah, I heard about those winds hitting 120 plus. I remember calling Mike up the other night, and he was telling me about that. He was saying that, it came like within a mile and a half away from his house or something. The Cornwells. All right, let's see here. Bro. All right. What the heck? All right, so let's go further down. Trust Truth. Welcome. Wow. Well, that was some passionate rally cry for Stellar, almost MLK. Big up, Max. That's funny. Yeah, I have a dream that one day we'll be able to, pay with our Stellar XLM for groceries. I can't get more into that, but you get what I'm saying. Thank you, Trust Truth. I appreciate that. Boom. All right. Yeah, you're welcome. All you guys are welcome. Max, any thoughts on SEC versus ETH? I need to get more into the specifics about that, I don't want to just do what's on the surface that everybody else does. Might get more into the mechanics about that. I saw some other news that you guys probably also seen on X about grayscale. Kind of want to read up more about it, because I just do the typical thing. Then it just sounds like fluff. And why do that? If you got to talk about something, like, talk about it, give an educated response, right? Anyway. All right, Guga's now. She says, thank you for the endless alpha. Well, you're welcome. Thank you very much. I do try when it comes to that. Elon Musk says 117 mile per hour wind was not far from him. Yeah, that's crazy. But more reference sooner. All right. Crypto Queen is in the house. Welcome, welcome. Believe it or not, my aunt and uncle, my uncle Eli, my aunt Loida, my uncle Eli he's a pastor in the Philippines and also in Portland, Oregon. They have that dog. Believe it or not. I should say they have it now. It's been a while. I forgot about that. Jeez. So they had that dog back in '99. So in reality, maybe I guess I'll ask them about their dog. But they had that dog, and man, that dog always smelled so good. That was the best smelling dog ever. Like a lot of people, they have dogs, and it's like nothing gets it. Your dog smells like dog. Like this is gonna sound bad. You know what I mean? Like, but their dog, which was literally that same breed, smelled like freaking shampoo every day. I mean, it just smelled amazing. We were cool. It was a sweet dog, Anyway, if you guys' dogs don't smell like shampoo, that's no knock on you, right? Anyway, what do you mean, Max? My dog should smell like dog because it's dog. Just like you smell like human because you're human. You're not a scam, right? Yeah. Anyway, all right. You're gonna go in the middle of that 127. Really? Gonna be right in the middle of that? Yikes! All right. I know immediately who that is. That's Mike Cornwell. That's a great one. So shout out to Mike Cornwell, aka Elon Musk, aka Essential. You're hilarious. You already know who that is, Boomer. That's freaking Mike Cornwell. Oh, is it really? Oh my God, it's Mr. Right in the Neck himself. Well, I am honored to have you here, Dustin. You are a freaking legend at work, man. You are the legend, bro. Right in the freaking neck. You know what I mean? Like, I heard that you saw my little, video I made, right? Like, hello, guten tag. You know what I'm talking about, right? So cool. I'm honored to have you here, Dustin. For real, man. That is so cool. Now I get it. It's not Mike Cornwell. It's literally the legendary Harry Satchel, aka Dustin. That's awesome. All right. No, he is right. I forgot that is his buddy. All right. Some are born into great, so there's have a thrust upon them. Or right in the neck, right? That's awesome. All right, GG SHX is still going on a nice upward trend. Well, guys, that's gonna wrap it up. We almost ticked up to 200. Check out Clearpool. I know you guys are always chasing certain ones. Maybe you're on limited money. Maybe you want to stack more. Again, not financial advice, but check it out. Do as you please. I'm not gonna be a super long show tonight. Just wanted to, cover what I wanted to cover tonight and so on. I'll get into some of these other things probably tomorrow. Glad to be here 2 days in a row with you guys, obviously. Going to check out the second quarter. I want to watch OKC versus Dallas. OKC's up 44-38, 6-point lead. And, of course, sorry to brother Selmo. His Cleveland Cavaliers lost today by 25 points. My God. So the games I'm still looking most forward to is Minnesota. I got to admit that. I think I'm just going to go ahead and call it. I think this is nothing against OKC, right? I like OKC. If I have to bet who is going to the finals, I'm going to have to go with Boston versus Minnesota. Okay? We'll see what happens. But at least Western Conference final. OKC, Minnesota, Boston, New York. I think that's almost a given. But should still be pretty interesting. All right. What's the last comments we have? You guys had a Mexican restaurant? Huh. All right. You guys have a good one. Dustin, I thank you, sir, for being here. You know, you are the legend. You know, I think of like before we wrap it up real quick, you know, like Wayne's World, you know, it's like we're not worthy. We're not worthy, right? The whole thing of right in the effing neck is just it's never gonna go away, you know? Never going to go away. There's a part 2 video that I released, you know, in regards to Mr. Adolf himself, and the other guy was you know who he is. In a room, and you have to check it out. Mike can forward it to you if you haven't seen it. It's pretty good as well. It's not as good as the first one, right? There where Vincent is right. You know, the sequel is never as good as the first one, but that's all right. Hey, Diogo, if I pronounce that right. Al's, I remember you. Yes. Nice job. You're the best researcher on crypto that I ever saw. I don't know about that, but that's quite the compliment. Congratulations. You know Pundi X. No, but that sounds interesting. You know, but thank you, Diogo. Coochie boy, I am graced with your presence. I know you came late. I was thinking about you the other day. You know, it's kind of weird how the energy we put out to the universe, as the saying goes. I was actually thinking about you. I was like, man, I've seen that guy in a long time. You have the title of the Bishop of Crypto, but I'm always honored to have you here. I don't talk about meme coins a lot. I do talk about one lately, my friend, and it's Byte. So I do cover that one. But glad to have you here, Coochie boy. Really, I really mean that, man. You're always an OG supporter back in the day. So thank you very much. All right, you guys have a great rest of your night. I'm going to go watch some basketball. And shout out to April Cornwall. Maybe I will hit up BK later. They have a Whopper Wednesday. So my rewards, I got enough for 50% off on a Whopper. And what else do I got? I think I got a free Whopper coming in. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. I know what's her name where I was always saying, don't go there. It's so bad for you. And so I know, I get it. But anyway, it's not like it's every day. Or is it? No, I'm kidding. All right. You went to McLeod? Huh. You're 1989. I am 1999. Anyway. Thanks, Coochie boy. All right. For real, you guys have a great night. Sayonara from the Rice Crop Consortium. Let's go. Hold on. Get Apex on OKB. Message me for info. Yes, message Mike for it. He's doing great when it comes to the memes. He's in it very early when it comes to the stuff. So yeah, Coochie boy, all you guys that are into some of the memes, check it out. The only new meme I bought since literally 2022 is Byte. Maybe that's bad. I don't know. But yeah, check out Apex. Mike is always messaging me about that and so on. And that's about it. So I really will say sayonara from the Rice Crop Consortium. Dustin, you rock, man. You're the freaking legend. And that's about it. 10 years old, almost. Yeah, I'm class 99. So anyway, we need quantum resistant crypto deep dives. Yeah, I know you guys want me to cover XPR. I might. I just, I'm trying to stack more of what I have instead of just my portfolio is so big to begin with. Maybe it's not as big as Mike Cornwell's with 300 plus, but it's like at 60 right now, right? So my main thing is like I need to stack more of what I have instead of just branching out into other things. But I do recognize there's value, of course, when it comes to XPR, and it is quantum resistant. And a lot of you guys have put in requests for that. Jack Thompson, so on and so forth. So anyway. I will be, yeah, that's right. I'll be 43 on Sunday. I probably will join you guys because, it is Mother's Day. And I know that, I'm like, really, anybody can show up to my birthday on Mother's Day? Give me a break, right? Probably not. So, anyway. I do cover, wait, hold on. So I cover stacks. I do cover stacks. I've done 2 videos on stacks. And I cover SHX. I don't know if it's a typo, but either way, I cover both of those. You could check out the video section about that. The Nakamoto upgrade, I was right on that. That was a big catalyst. We did see big pumps, but we'll get more into it. All right, I really got to get going, guys. We'll go from there. I don't know why you're sending me your address, but that's okay. Thank you for that. And yeah, if you want, in regards to some of this stuff, you can reach out to Mike Cornwell. Oh, maybe you're maybe this is a friend of Mike Cornwell. So welcome, Kenneth. Okay, get what you're saying. I'll try to, maybe cover more of this stuff on a different particular time. So, cool. All right, you guys. For real, sayonara from the Rice Crop Consortium. Let's go. Bye-bye. Just be not to scat. Bye-bye.